Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today, I just wanted to do my quick intro for a vlog I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been thinking about doing some more vlogs of some taboo reads, and I've been wanting to read Priest for a really long time. I have Priest on my shelves and I still hadn't read it. So I thought it'd be a really cool idea to do a vlog reading Sierra Simone's Priest. And then I also have Sinner. So I don't know if these are going to be as taboo as my usual taboo vlog, like Kay Webster's books, but I figure they're pretty taboo considering this is a romance with a priest, and I think this is like a woman that's about to become a nun and all of that. So I'm finally going to read Priest after all this time hearing about it forever. So this vlog, I'm just basically going to be doing Sierra Simone's Priest and Sinner. I'm hoping I'm going to love it. I've heard so much about these, so it should be interesting just to vlog my thoughts and see if I'm going to love it as much as other people. Although I did see on Goodreads a lot of differing views on Priest, so it should be interesting to see where I lie in those ratings because I'm not really religious, so I don't think the priest aspect or like the Catholic, church stuff is going to bother me as much as maybe a lot of other people, but I do get their thoughts on that. So I don't know if that's why some people have lower reviews or if it's actually because of the book and how good it is. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Priest and then Sinner, and we'll see what I think. All right, I'll catch you in a bit once I start with Priest. Hey everyone. So I actually had to stay home with the migraine today, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to start reading Priest, but I've been having a hard time actually reading and stuff because I've just been feeling really crappy, but I did want to get a start on that. So I did start Priest. I am about maybe 20% through, and things have kind of started to heat up. I really wanted to read this, do this kind of with this taboo vlog for Sierra Simone. I've had Priest and Sinner like on my bookshelf forever, on my TBR forever, so I'm glad I'm finally getting to it. It was kind of hard to get into right away. I was kind of losing focus, so I don't know if that's just me having a migraine or if it has to do with the book itself. So I want to start off by saying that I am not Catholic. I'm not really that religious. So I'm probably not going to feel as awkward or uncomfortable with a lot of stuff in this, since this is a Catholic priest romance. So just want to preface that. But I do get that this would be really uncomfortable and very taboo for a lot of people. I mean, it's still taboo. It's just I'm not Catholic, so it's not hitting that mark or upsetting me in any way. But so far in this story, we have our priest, and I think he's been a priest for about 3 years. So it wasn't like he's been a priest his whole life. He kind of decided to do this. He made a vow and he became celibate and he became a priest because of what happened to his sister. I kind of think that's the main reason why, because we find out that his sister killed herself and that she had been abused by like their parish and for years, and they had no idea. And she ended up like leaving a note to kind of bring up the other people that he also did it to. And so the family kind of went after this guy and he went to jail and everything. But the people were like mad at them for turning in this fucking rapist and creep. And so his family has been like very disillusioned and not connected with the church anymore. His mother still believes, but she won't go back to the church from that. And so I believe that he kind of wanted to be a good priest and show what it's supposed to be, and kind of do that for his sister, I believe. Not sure fully if that's the full reason, but that's kind of what I'm getting from that so far. And then we have our heroine, and she is not religious, really. So she just randomly comes to his confession. He's instantly attracted just by her voice, and he's like drawn to her like immediately. And so he feels really guilty. And she actually just kind of is feeling guilty and has a lot of shame for her like past actions, and so she kind of wanted to talk to somebody. So she's not Catholic, she's not really that religious, so she just happened to kind of go in there. I think that kind of works for the story too, because I think it'd be hard if it was like a devout Catholic like was trying to hook up with her priest. I think that would make this more like icky. So I think that kind of helps out with this. But she has that interaction with him. Then she looks him up online and sees that he's freaking hot. She runs into him when they're running at one point. He's shirtless, and so he's very turned on by her. He can't stop thinking about her, and she's come in like a few times, so they've had like a face-to-face meeting. And so she slowly had like a couple confessions and like a face-to-face meeting where she's kind of explained where she's actually super smart, went to Dartmouth, I believe it was, and came from a house, like a family of privilege and rich family, but she basically kind of like pushed that away, didn't want that lifestyle, and kind of ran away from that life. And so she ended up becoming like a stripper at a club, but also helping them with their accounting and all this stuff because she is very smart, and has her, I believe she has her master's degree. And so, but then she ends up telling him about how this previous boyfriend of hers came and found her, and he had ended things with her. He got married, and he basically has been working for her for a while, and he finds her and basically like lets her know like the reason he couldn't be with her, be married with her, is because she's a whore, and he kind of wanted her for his mistress. And this guy just sounds like a fucking pig, but she still slept with him, and she hadn't slept with anybody at this club, even though lots of guys were propositioning her and wanting her to be their mistress. But this guy like kind of has this hold over her, so she ended up having sex with him and felt super ashamed that she did that when he's married. And so she kind of runs away to this town that she's in now. So after this confession, she kind of said something like, especially with how I'm feeling. And sorry, I can literally hear my son scream about his video game all the way outside. Anyways, so, oh, my allergies are acting up. So anyway, she, like exits the confession all embarrassed, like doesn't say what she was going to say. And he kind of knows it was about him. And so he like confronts her outside of it, and they kind of like, he ends up like getting up in her space and touching her and having her bend over like the piano, and she's not wearing any underwear, and she purposely didn't wear any underwear so she could like masturbate while she did her confession with him. So this girl is a dirty girl. She's very into sex, and he basically eats her out. He gives her oral, and she's never had oral before, which is insane. If you love sex, these men aren't treating you right. You better get the oral. And then they kind of end up getting each other off, with him just kind of riding on her, but not like penetrating her. And so that's where I left off. It was super hot. It was spicy. In the beginning, the book was kind of slow, but this kind of was like picked it up a little bit for me. So it was a very sexy scene. I hope there's going to be more depth to this heroine than just this like crazy sex drive and stuff. But this is all from like the priest's perspective, which I found interesting since it's usually like the heroine we're in. So it's interesting to see him, hear his guilt, hear his shame, and like him trying to fight this temptation and do the right thing. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm going to try and get through at least half of it today. I don't know how I'm going to do with my migraine, but I want to be able to finish this at least today, or well, tomorrow probably. But I will check in with you guys once I get like halfway through the book. All right, see you on the next clip. Hey guys, just checking in. It's the next day. I did get up to like 50% of the book last night. It's been pretty slow going for me, honestly. I don't know if it's this book or my migraine issues, but I'm just not fully feeling it. I ended up trying to go to work again today and made it a couple hours, but my nausea, like with my migraine, is really bad. This is a side note, a little bit about me. I've been suffering from migraines for about I'd say 18 years, maybe 15. I don't know. It's a long time. And I can usually work with a migraine because I'm just used to it as long as I have my Ubovary and everything like that. But when my nausea hits, it's like so hard to work. The lights are so freaking bright at my work. Anyways, I made it 2 hours and I haven't read that much more today. My migraine is just killing me. So that could be the reason this book isn't fully hitting for me. But, I mean, it's okay. I just don't really feel their connection. It feels very surface level sexual. And I kind of wanted a deeper connection between them. I mean, he cannot, stop his attraction to her. And he keeps kind of doing things that he shouldn't be doing. The time after they kind of messed around together and he ate her out and everything, he was so depressed and shameful, and he went running a really long time and started crying while he was praying to God. So they try to kind of stay away from each other. She's trying to help out with fundraising stuff and help out with the church now. She's trying to find a deeper meaning to her life. She used to volunteer a lot and she kind of wants to do that. So they kind of have some professional interactions, but not so much. They have this undeniable connection that we hear about. And so she ends up showing up at his place to be apologize for something, but really she shows up there without any panties or anything, and in the middle of the night. So we know what she was there for. So they have another sexual interaction, and he kind of decides he's not gonna fight it. He wants to at least have sex with her. So she had to go out of town to that previous club that she worked at where she was a stripper and helped out with the books. And then she comes back and they basically decide that we're going to full on have a sexual relationship. So they end up having sex on the altar in the church. I don't know why he said somebody would be suspicious if she was going to his place. But I mean, that seems kind of risky. Then they go back to his place anyways and are cuddling in bed together. So I'm like, why don't you just have sex there? It was kind of just thrown in there to be super taboo and, going against his whole faith and everything. He does deeply believe in God. He wants to do the right thing. So it's not like he's an unlikable character. He really does want to do the right thing, but he can't stop this connection to her. I kind of feel like he shouldn't have become a priest. Just because of what happened to his sister. But I'm enjoying it. The sex is hot, but I'm just not connected to them as a couple or a relationship. It feels very surface level to me. So it may be me, or it just might be this book isn't really hitting for me. I did see some people didn't really like it. They liked the second one much better. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and take a nap. And maybe I'll do some reading this afternoon. I would love to finish it today so I can get this book behind me, because I even don't really want to pick it up because I'm not that interested. I don't know. It's not fully working for me, but we'll see if it gets any better. I'm going to go take a nap, and hopefully I'll feel better this afternoon and I'll be able to finish this book. I will follow up with you guys soon. Okay. All right. See you on the next one. Hey everyone. So here I am. This vlog is going to be kind of, all over the place. I feel like I am home still, the third day sick from my migraine. It's been bad. It's a bad migraine. I haven't had one of these in a while. My nausea is out of control. So, excuse me. I'm going to try and keep this brief. Because it's kind of all over the place for me right now. I finished Priest last night, and it did take me a lot longer than I really think it should have. That could be due to the migraine, but I really think it's due to this book, because I really wasn't feeling these characters or the romance. I wasn't sure how to rate this because I don't know. It just didn't connect for me. I saw a lot of 5 stars and a lot of like 2 or 1 stars on Goodreads. And so the more I thought about it last night, the more I'm probably going to have to give it a lower rating because of my issues with it. So this may be me being negative here at the end of this vlog. Well, not the end of the vlog, but the end of this one. I still have to read the second book. Probably going to give myself a break. I'm going to read our buddy read, Delivered by Pam Godwin first, and then I'll come back to this. I have heard that people that didn't really like Priest loved the Sinner better. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the case because I wasn't feeling it after this book. So my main issues really stem around the heroine. I didn't like her. I didn't connect to her. She seemed very two-dimensional, and it was mostly like a lot of sex. There's like no other plot going on except for him fighting it, not wanting to be with her, he didn't want to be true to the church, and then she shows up and it's like, get in my office, or let's go bang it out on the freaking in the church and whatever. So that's the plot. Like, you don't really have a lot going on with, sorry, my cat, hopefully I can get him in this shot, but he's like cutting, oh dang it, I missed it. Anyways, so I just didn't really like her. And I don't want to come off as slut shaming or anything, but you can be sex positive, and that's great. But this girl just came off as pretty slutty, and that she's all about the sex, and that's kind of how I perceived her. But we're told about what a giving and loving person she is, when she's like a trust fund brat that like run away from home and didn't want to do what her parents wanted her to do, which is fine, understandable, and went to be a stripper and got off to guys like watching her, and that's completely fine. I just didn't feel it was necessary for him to fall or be tempted by a person like that. I wanted more depth to her character, and we really got nothing. She was, I don't know, I didn't like her, and especially with the third act, I really didn't like her. So you have the priest, Father Bell, basically putting his life, not just his career, because being a priest is his life, on the line to be with her, and they're sneaking around and stuff. And eventually the ex-boyfriend shows up, the one that she had slept with, even though he had a wife, although she ran away from him, blah blah blah, but you still fucked him at the strip club. I don't know, I just didn't have a lot of respect for this woman. And he shows up, has pictures where he had them followed, and he basically kind of threatens Father Bell, this is how I deal with my competition. He's a pretty ruthless kind of guy, and Father Bell's freaked out. Then all of a sudden, after this visit, he can't find, what is her name? I totally forgot her name because honestly, I don't even like her. Anyways, he can't find the heroine of this book, and he gets pictures in the night from the ex-boyfriend of her with him, and then she shows up to his place the next day in the same clothes. And so he assumes, you would assume, that she fucking cheated on him. And so she gets all upset and is like, I would never cheat on you, blah blah blah, and takes him to this strip club, and she does this whole sexual thing with him. And then he realizes that this is love, this is who he's meant to be with, and blah, blah, blah. And so he decides that he's gonna tell the truth, or at least leave the priesthood. He doesn't tell her. He makes the call quitting, and then goes to her house with flowers. He plans to propose, which I'm like, this guy, I don't get what he sees in her. And she's with her ex-boyfriend, and he walks in on them kissing, and not just the guy kissing her, but her hand around his neck, she's kissing him back. And so he's devastated, drops the flowers, and basically flees to go to his confessor and confess everything. Then he didn't have his phone, didn't communicate with her, And then the pictures were released. So there goes his career anyways, and he's not even with her. And then he comes back and she has packed up all her shit and she's gone. So he assumes that she went off with her ex. And he goes off, doesn't know what he wants to do because he realizes he can't really be a priest anymore and he wants to help people. So he goes off to another country and he's doing, volunteer and helping others. And he comes back and kind of needs to get closure. She had literally left the rosary beads that he gave her that were his sister's who killed herself, and he gave those rosary beads to her, and she left them for him in an envelope at the strip club. I mean, she's just so ugh. And so this is all to say she totally ghosts him, and he has to go out of his way to find her ex-boyfriend, to find her. He's confused because he thought they were together. He apologized, was yeah, I feel bad about that, but he's just the kind of guy he is. And so he finds her, and lo and behold, she did that all to protect him. She knew he was coming to her house, and so she made out with her ex in front of him, knowing it would be the only way to push him away because she didn't want to risk his career. I'm just shut the fuck up. Communicate. And if you were so worried about his career, you shouldn't have been kept flaunting yourself with no panties coming to the confessional, masturbating while you're doing confession. So I was very frustrated. I did not like the heroine in this. We get a happily ever after. They're together. But, honestly, that was very rushed because it was just them reuniting. And then it was, the epilogue and they're getting married. And then it was an extended long sex scene again. So there are some really good spicy sex scenes in this that I think a lot of people will gravitate towards. They're taboo. We have a bunch in, the church. They're literally using the sacrificial or whatever it's called, oils, from the church to do anal. But the thing is, I didn't care, and I almost was skimming the sex scenes because I didn't give a shit about this relationship. I didn't like the heroine. I thought the father could have done a lot better than her. And so that's my problem, and I'll say it a million times. If you're continually giving me smut, there better be a plot, there better be story development, there better be a growth of these characters. You better give me more than a two-dimensional slutty girl that's after a good time. That's going to be the one that this guy's going to risk and change his whole being for. So I didn't really even enjoy the sex scenes because I didn't care and I was tired of it. So sorry to go on a rant here. If you love this book, I'm very sorry. I just didn't connect to the heroine. And I didn't connect to their love story. I did like his self-exploration and discovering who he is and what he really wants, and that, he shouldn't be a priest anymore for him. He wasn't doing it for the right reasons kind of thing. So I enjoyed that. So I'm either going to give this a 2 or a 2.5 star. I was thinking 3, but honestly, the more I'm ranting right now, it's not a 3-star read for me. So I'm hopeful the next book will be a lot more positive and I'll like it a lot more. We shall see. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, sorry for the haggard appearance. It's been a rough few days. All right. I'll see you once I start reading The Sinner. Guys, so I am finally back to this vlog because I kind of took a break after reading Priest. Reading different stuff. So I am finally reading The Sinner. I'm actually listening to this one on audiobook. I do have the book, but it's available in any place. So I just wanted to listen to it since I could get it in at work. And sorry. So I could get it in at work. I am listening to it. I'm liking this one better so far than Priest. Priest I didn't really like because a lot of reasons, which I already went over, and I kind of was pretty harsh on it on Goodreads. But this one I'm liking better because the heroine is not a freaking ugh. So I'm liking this heroine. I'm only about 25% through. Just started it, but it's a quick read already. It's kind of flying by. We have our heroine, and she is going to become a nun. And she is actually the sister of our hero's best friend. So it's like best friend's sister, or if it was from her perspective, I guess it'd be, brother's best friend. But this is all told from the hero's perspective, and he is actually the brother to the priest, the hero and the priest. So this brother actually kind of went the opposite way when their sister killed herself and was like, abused by the priest, her priest and everything. He basically said, I don't believe in God anymore. I hate God and all of that. So he went the opposite direction. He's very successful. He's got a lot of money. He's a ladies' man, kind of all that. He happens to see her at this fundraiser, and he hits on her, and they kind of have a moment. But it ended up being her last night. She was trying to give herself one more night, and she didn't tell him who she was. He didn't recognize that it was his best friend's little sister. And she actually grew up with them too, where I think some drama went on with her family and his family when the sister killed herself. So I don't know the full story there, why they kind of had a falling out, but he's still best friends with her brother. And so she knew him when he was younger. She knew his sister and all that kind of stuff. So he ends up getting into this thing with his work where they were basically trying to buy this property, I think, that the nuns were getting for $1, nothing, that they didn't know. So they were going to look bad taking over this property that the nuns were living in. So he's sent to go talk to somebody there, and it ends up being her, and he finds out she was a nun, and it's his best friend's little sister. So they kind of have a meeting and everything, and then she comes to his house later, and she basically kind of propositions him. She has a month left before she, becomes a nun. And her, I don't even know what they call it, but her mentor kind of thing. I'm not religious, so I don't know all these terms. But she basically wants her to experience, she has no experience with temptation or sex or anything like that. And she wants her to kind of experience life before she, basically becomes a bride of Christ and all of that. So she kind of goes to him to ask him to sleep with her, where they could experience things together, because she wants to make sure she's making the right choice, because she's never had temptation before. And she trusts him, and she used to have a crush on him. And so, he would be the biggest temptation to her. Sorry, my cat's meowing down here. So he's kind of trying to figure out, should he do this? He feels wrong because of the nun thing, but also it being his best friend's little sister. And so right where I'm at, he's calling his brother, who was the priest, to kind of ask for advice on what he should do. So I'm liking it because he kind of seems like a ladies' man, whatever, kind of cad kind of guy, but he actually has some morals. He's checking into it, thinking about it before he does it. And our heroine is very smart and holds her, and she's very honest and just lays it all out there. And I really like that. So she's just, I think they have good communication already. So I'm already liking the heroine better in this one. So hopefully this is going to be a better book. So I will check back in with you once I get a little bit further, probably about halfway through the book. But so far I am liking it better than the priest, at least. Hey guys, just checking in. I am about 60% through The Sinner, and I'm enjoying this one a lot more than I did The Priest. We're actually about to go to my brother's for kind of a little barbecue. My son's leaving. He's moving out of state, so it's been pretty crazy and hectic and scary and nerve-wracking for me, but we're gonna go hang out with my brother and them. So let me make this brief. I'm about 60% through, and I'm liking it a lot better because I actually like the heroine in this one. In The Priest, I did not like her. I didn't think she was redeemable. I thought she was two-dimensional. This character is feeling more fleshed out. I do wish we got her POV. That's what I find kind of missing in these books, is they're all from the men's perspectives. So I kind of wish we had hers. But she's an African-American woman. She's strong. She's beautiful. She's independent. She kind of knows what she wants in life. And so I really love that about her. She's very honest, and they have open discussions. And so I really love that. And Sean basically had decided after talking to his brother that he was going to do this deal with her, and they're going to spend the month together, kind of dating and sex and all of that, so she can figure out, that she's not missing out on anything in life. And so he like made dinner for her, and then you kind of find out he's kind of dominant and will be bossy, but also like in a protective way. Like he wants her to eat and he'll tell her what he wants and all that kind of stuff. And then they do have like some sexual experiences. They have not had sex yet, but he's gone down on her. She's, got him off, so they've messed around a little bit. And then now they went on like an actual date where they're like at a skating rink and everything. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm thinking it's really interesting too, to look at like when you used to believe in God and you turned from him because of a horrible tragedy. He like went the opposite way from his brother. He basically went away from religion, and his mother has cancer and is dying of cancer. So he's very angry about that as well. And he finds out that she's kind of using her rosary again and kind of finding faith, and he gets very upset by that. So I like those discussions. But I'm really liking their relationship. He's very turned on by her, kind of wants more, and is freaked out because he's never really had a full like relationship with a woman. After his like sister died, he didn't really let new people in his life. So I'm really enjoying Sean's character, and I really like Zenny. I think she's very smart, intelligent, and like goes after what she wants, and is like, I love their open communication. So I got to get going because my mom and my son are waiting for me, but I will check in once I finish the book. Hey guys, so I am doing my final check-in on this vlog. I did finish Sinner last night, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked this one a lot more than I liked Priest, because I really connected or liked the heroine this time. Zenny is just this really beautiful soul and beautiful person trying to like give her life for something that she believes in, and she's very dedicated. But the thing is, near the end, you kind of get frustrated with her because it feels like she was just becoming a nun to kind of prove it to her parents, who her parents always wanted her to be like a doctor or, these kind of like higher up levels. And she didn't really want to do that. She didn't want to pursue being a doctor. She ended up going to nursing school, I believe, and finishing with that. But they were always had these expectations of her that she didn't believe in, and nobody really believed in her becoming this nun. And so I felt like a lot of that was a kind of just to prove to everybody that she could do it, when in fact she's obviously falling in love with Sean. Sean falls head over for her. He definitely falls first. This is really beautiful. I mean, Sean isn't this disgusting player, but he definitely had not opened himself up to a relationship or want to be in a committed relationship. Ever since his sister killed herself, he really cut people out of his life. He had surface level relationships with people. And so he really falls hard for Zenny. He loves her like for who she is, her giving nature. He really like wants to be with her, but he also doesn't want to make her feel like she has to give up everything for him. And so he's kind of in this really tough spot, and he does eventually tell her how he feels, and she kind of rebuffs it and is like pissed off because she's like, what I had to do, we weren't supposed to fall for each other and all of that. So that was kind of tough because you have kind of this separation. And then after that, them kind of ending things a little bit early because he did fall in love with her. His mother has been dying of cancer, and that fight is now coming to a close. And it's a very emotional, heartbreaking scene of the family having to basically say goodbye. She had a DNR. She didn't want any of these extreme measures being taken to keep her alive. So it's such a really beautiful but heartbreaking scene of watching somebody who's such a good person and really done amazing things in their life, and now she's dying, and she like wants them to pray. And his brother who was the priest wasn't there yet. He was trying to fly to get there in time. Luckily he gets there in time, but like Sean had to do like the prayer and everything, and he has had this very tumultuous relationship with God since his sister killed herself. So it was very emotional. And he does leave a message for Zenny, letting her like know what's happening. And she does show up to kind of be there for the mother and him, like as she's dying. And so it's just a very emotional thing. He ends up going to her the day she's going to take her vows and everything. And they have this, like, it kind of irritated me that she wanted to have sex with him one last time there when she was literally not going to be with him. I thought that was pretty unfair. But she eventually figures it out and comes chasing after him to like want to be with him. And she kind of acknowledged about herself that she was doing this for the wrong reasons and that she really loved him. So I did think it was a very, it dealt with some heavy subjects in here, you know, suicide, you know, like a parent dying of cancer, cancer death. That's all very emotional and hard topics too. So I felt like this book took on a lot more and took it on more in a serious matter. It wasn't just throwing sex and smut into the picture for smut's sake, which I really felt like the priest was just all surface level sex, and like nothing of substance in it. So I did really, really like this book. I'm giving this one 4 stars. It is definitely spicy. So I think I'm going to give it 4 chilies, I believe, on the spice scale, because there is a lot of sex. But I love how it was a slow build up to the actually have sex. He was like giving her pleasure and showing her, you know, what could be involved. There's toys used. There's butt play. There's definitely butt stuff going on. So there's a lot going on here. And I love how like dominant, you know, Sean is. So I definitely enjoyed Sinner a lot more. So I'll be interested to see if the other books are good too. I think the other one might be a male-male romance. So I'm really excited to see that one. But that'll be the end for this vlog since we're just doing those 2 books. Thank you so much for watching this. If you've made it to the end, why don't you give me some purple hearts? And please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.